championship is in the books. What a great season 2025 was. But you know what? College football, it's pretty much year-round, and it's definitely going to be year-round here on Midwest Sportsnet and on 446 Sports. College football this week is live on a Sunday night. Joey McWilliams, Doug Gann with you here on this Sunday night, the Sunday after Christmas, and it's a privilege to get to visit with you tonight. We have something a little bit new to the show. As well, it's now in its 42nd edition here, and we're going to see a little bit more of this in the off season. I know for some folks that's not a good word, but it kind of is tonight. And we get to visit. Special guest tonight is Coach Jason Aubry from Kentucky Christian University. Coach, really quickly, I know you visited with me here before on Midwest Sports Net, but to get to go live with you tonight really is a privilege. I hope you had a good Christmas.
Absolutely. And I'm still enjoying my Christmas, actually. So I'm actually in Illinois right now with my daughter and her husband, and visiting family and spending some time with my three granddaughters, actually. So my Christmas is still given right now.
That is fantastic, Coach. That really is. And enjoy those grandkids. Enjoy the kids. Just make the most of every time. I know that really is a special thing. Well, let's talk a little football and more here tonight, as we want to make good use of your time. Kentucky Christian, you completed your third year as the head coach there in Grayson, Kentucky. Now, go back a little bit. Let's talk 1-10 the first year, rebuilding. 2-9, still a little bit of rebuilding in that. 4-6 in 2025, but because of the nature of college football as it is, it feels like it's still even a little bit of rebuilding. Then new quarterback for 2025, Jackson Wassett comes in. He does great things. We can talk about him in just a moment, but it's just another improvement. 1 win, 2 win, 4 wins. Talk a little bit about 2025 as a whole.
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is it does actually, our website says 4-6. However, we did win 5 games this year. Our opening game is our week 0. The NAIA did not recognize South Carolina Christian as a NAIA sanctioned team. So we did play 11 games. So we were 5-6. I'm gonna fight for that 5th victory every time. So 5-6 is what we finished this year. And you know, it was a great opening game. We like I said, it was South Carolina Central Christian, and we beat them 58-0. It's something that we wanted to hang our hat on. You know, defensively, we got a shutout. Offensively, phenomenal game that we put some good points up and everything. But that's a huge way to start off the year, and to be able to finish 5-6 after going 1-10 and then 2-9. We even with those 5 wins, we believe we left 3 or 4 wins out there, actually. We played Reinhardt, the conference champs this year, to a 35-35, 7 seconds to go. They kick a field goal to win 38-35. That's the type of football we played this year. And then we lost by 4 points to Union. We lost by a touchdown to Pikeville. We are this close to competing for the conference championship, and that's this year. And all those guys that you talked about, or the people that you were about to talk about, they're all coming back. So Coach, we are at a place right now that if we can recruit our roster and don't let anybody poach our guys, we're in a good place.
Coach, so I watched that.
That's what we're doing right now.
I watched that Pikeville game, and you guys got down. But what I saw in that loss was a fighting spirit. You guys never gave up. I mean, it was a battle throughout. And you look at a team that's 5-6 or 4-6, whatever it's got you. You were not far away from, like you said, being 7-3, 8-2 on the season. And what does that do for the confidence around there?
Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you what it does. Retention.
Yeah.
We have on our roster right now, going in the spring, we have 92 guys on our roster. Do you know that that's more than UK has on their roster? UK's roster right now has less than 75 guys. We're at 92 guys. We retain our guys because our guys know what's about to happen. We're about to win a conference championship. and it's because of the work that they've put in. And I've got to step back a second and just talk about my staff. My staff has done incredible things. What we've been able to put together and the way that they've believed in what I wanted them to do. And I've given them the pieces, and they've taken it and they have just run with it. My offensive coordinator, Joby Sullivan, is just a phenomenal football mind. And he has done incredible things with Jackson Wasick and all of our guys that have been doing incredible things. And then our defensive staff. Our defensive staff, we weren't as good defensively as our offense this year because our defensive staff is 1 year behind our offensive staff. I've had Joby for 2 years now. My defensive staff that I have is just 1 year. So give us another recruiting cycle, and then we're going to put up some numbers offensively, and then defensively we're going to – and heck, this year we held our opponents to 10 less points per game this year than we did last year. So the things that are happening at Kentucky Christian are just incredible. And all these little stats that I could pull out and everything, they're huge, but they don't tell the whole story. You know, you look at our website and 4-6. Oh, that's an average year. Well, people don't understand how close we were every game throughout the season. So, and like I said, we're playing with young guys. Heck, we had the freshman defensive player of the year on our team. Mm-hmm. We had the offensive player of the year on our team. We are poised to strike again next year. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time at KCU right now, as you can tell.
Absolutely it is. Coach, shout out really quickly, Michael Brooks watching from West Palm Beach, Florida, or that area. Thanks for being on with us tonight, Michael. And if you are watching us live, well, let us know in the chat from where you're watching and who you might be cheering for in 2026 as we're turning the page on 2025. 2026 is ahead. Coach Jason Aubry from Kentucky Christian. Coach, let's mention a name here really quickly, and I alluded to it a little bit earlier, Jackson Wasick, who came in, and talk about the offense for just a moment because, you know, you had a solid player, good freshman quarterback the year before, set some good numbers, and then he's gone. And actually, to his credit, played well at the school that he wound up at. Absolutely. Very good season for him. We talked before the season started that, you know, Grayson can and should be a destination. And it's what you're not just alluding to it, you're outright saying it right now. Grayson should be a destination. And you had some guys that would step up. It wound up being Wasick, who had that big game against South Carolina Christian, which, by the way, I spoke with Coach Logan earlier in the year as well. It's a good program. And he's trying to do some good things there at South Carolina Christian. But talk about Wasick's year and what that meant for the program to have somebody just come back in, you reload, and you have a great season.
Yeah, you know what I think of right away is I go right to Joby Sullivan, the guy that I just talked about. You know, you've got a quarterback that comes in and sets a bunch of records in 24, and then he decides, you know, to take a step someplace else, and then we got a new guy that comes right in. And I believe when we talked, I think it was August, we were not sure who our quarterback was going to be at that time. We had a couple of guys vying for the spot. But then Jackson took the spot and just kind of ran with it. And I just want to, you know, like I said, talk about Joby, just what he does with the quarterbacks and just how he is able to put them in a position of success. And that's what I'm extremely, extremely excited about having. I'm going to try to keep that guy from getting poached as well. You know, we're in this time era of college football that people could just come and grab people. You know, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create an atmosphere that is conducive for family, conducive for these players and everything. So it's but Jackson Wasick, what a phenomenal kid. That's the first thing that I'm going to say. He's a great football player, but he's an even better young man. He wants to do great things. He wants to stay after practice. And not just stay after practice to get extra reps. What Jackson Wasick does, he stays after practice and he plays with the kids that are on the field that are young, you know, our coaches' kids. He runs around with them. He plays catch with them. He is just a phenomenal young man that wants to just to be a great guy, So that's the number one thing about Jackson Wasik. But then when you throw for 3,200 yards and 34 touchdowns in a season, that's a darn good season. And this kid he's just a sophomore, and he can actually we're working to be able to get another year out of that, his first year as well. But he'll be able to play a lot of football ahead. And like I said, I'm just trying to keep him with us, and we're working with him, and we're trying to vie for his position. And it's a tough world out there right now, and especially when you're finding a D2 or an FCS program showing you a little love and everything. We're gonna do everything we can to hold on to him, and we have so far. So, but he's just a phenomenal kid, and talk about a leader, somebody that wants to get better every day, come out to the field, and just keeps people with him, his receivers, his running backs, his offensive line. He wants to bring everybody together. He's just a phenomenal kid.
Coach, it sounds like, you talk a lot about finding your fit, if it's going to be there at we're at Kentucky Christian. And it sounds like Jackson has found his fit. You talk about him playing with the kids. Is that what you're talking about when you talk about finding your fit?
Absolutely. So there's so many different schools out there that you could go to, and guys are what they have to do is they have to figure out what they want with their experience playing college ball. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there with the fit. There's a lot of times that we talk in our recruiting meetings about finding the right guys that, and there's PJ Fleck always talks about this. He says, I'm not for everybody. We do things differently. And that's the way I feel like we do. We do things differently. We don't do things just like everybody else. And I'm not for everybody. I'm crazy. I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to love you to death. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to find those kids that want that. And we're going to go and we're going to be great people off the field and greater people. I'm flipping that. We're going to be great on the field, but greater off the field. So that's what, I talk about, how we hold guys accountable, and we're going to hold them accountable in 3 areas of their life. And if we continue to hold them accountable mentally, physically, spiritually, every day that they're on campus, there's a lot of guys that don't like that. And that's okay. They're just not the right fit for Kentucky Christian football. And so that's my biggest thing that I want to do. I want to make sure that we find the right fit. They come in, they love where they're at. And when they love where they're at, they're going to do some incredible things. So that right there is the fit that I'm talking about. Yes.
Love it.
Doug, I didn't know if you had anything else for Coach.
I do. And it's, and it's, Coach, I watched a lot of your talks at the Kiwanis and different things that you talked about. And one thing that stood out to me was the clarity of purpose. You were very methodical of speaking about that because it seems to resonate so deeply with you. And you talked often just in this tonight about folks may not like you, folks may not, but you've not ever backed up from what it is that you say. And it's kind of take it or leave it. And I love that. But talk about that clarity of purpose just a bit.
Clarity of purpose is what we call our culture is we call it the clarity of purpose.
Right.
And the reason why we call it the clarity of purpose is to be clear of what your purpose is. And a lot of our guys, a lot of guys, young guys right now, or transfer guys, they come in and they think their purpose is to be a great football player. And that's okay. It's great to be a great football player. However, your purpose in life is so much greater than being a great football player.
Correct.
So we go through all these things that we do at the beginning of our meetings and everything. And we say our clarity of purpose every day. And the reason why we say it every day is because when a group of guys says something together and they believe it, not only here, but here, it resonates. And it's, your voice has power.
Right.
And when we have 100 guys, 120 guys saying the same thing every day in a meeting room, it's power. It's absolute. It's positive energy, and we love positive energy. And Joey, you talk about, Jesus talked about positive energy all the time. He talked about, if you truly believe, if you pray for something and you believe it's going to happen, guess what? It's going to happen.
That's right.
That's called positive energy. And if we continue to say out loud what we're going to do, what our clarity of purpose is, which is it's who we are. It's, and we talk about family, forget about me, I love you. We talk about our mission. Our mission is to serve others, and to serve others. Who is the greatest leader ever in the history of the world? Jesus. Okay. And his job, Matthew 20:28, for the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and lay down his life for many. So the greatest leader ever in the history of the world is a servant. We should be servants as well. So that's our mission, to serve others. Then our program goals, our 6 program goals is our vision. It's where we're going. Be a man of integrity. Number 2 is graduate and have a life plan. 3, Victory Bowl champions. 4, AAC conference champions. 5, NAIA playoffs. 6, NAIA national championship. Now, the playoff of all of that together is our program goal number 6. If our job, or if our goal, program goal number 6, is to win a national championship, I'm going to ask our players, how are you going to practice on the field? And the first thing they're going to say is, like a national champion. How are you going to act in class? Like a national champion. How are you going to act on campus? Like a national champion. Our clarity of purpose is not to win a national championship on the field. Our clarity of purpose is to wake up every day and be a national champion in everything that we do. And that is the purpose for everybody's life. You wake up every day and you choose to be a national champion in everything that you do. And if we got guys that come in, if we've got 100 guys that choose to be national champions in every choice that they make, our program trajectory is going to go like this. And we're going to win a lot more than just football games.
Man, I love it.
Win 40 years after we play at Kentucky Christian. So that, in a nutshell, is our clarity of purpose.
Look, Coach, I love it, and seeing you talk in the videos that you have posted, you're no different now than you are talking about it then, and that's a sense of genuineness that a lot of folks fake. And Coach, there's not a bit of it. And you and I met about 20 minutes ago, and you sense that truthfulness, and I can say just well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Doug. It's great talking to you, man.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, I know that you're with family now, so we don't want to take up too much of your Sunday night. I would ask this because I know we'll get a chance again in the summer to preview a little bit more. And as you're talking about, I hope the numbers are 92 plus at that point in time so that you're able to continue what you have going on. But looking to the spring, and you, again, I say alluded to the fact you pretty much came out and said it, talking about that you're recruiting roster. And so when you're looking ahead then in the spring, is that spring game a big deal for you? Are you looking to have a spring game? Some coaches don't do spring game, and I just kind of wanted to get your take on that because, this is players can be poached.
Absolutely. We right now, the spring game every year that I've been at Kentucky Christian it's getting bigger and bigger. Okay. And here's why. When you have a roster of 92 guys, you're still competing for spots. So if you come in and we only had, 50 guys last year, 45, 50 guys in spring, it's kind of hard to compete for spots. But when you have 90 guys, you're still competing. And then we're still bringing in mid-year guys as well. Because, let's be honest, I'm going to use the transfer portal to my advantage as well. I'm not just going to go, oh, we've got 92 guys, I'm good. I'm going to bring in guys that fit our program that can make us that much better. So now that spring ball game becomes even more important because now we've got guys competing for multiple spots. And then once they're able to get, in the system, get the offense, get the defense, and they're competing and they play in the spring, then we bring them back in the fall. Now we're going to have a great competitive camp which just ups the level of our performance against that AAC conference.
Absolutely. Okay. So not bailing on the spring game. It's bigger every year in Grayson.
Absolutely.
All right. Make sure I heard that right. Doug, anything else for Coach?
No, Coach, I just look forward to talking to you more. We're going to launch in the first of the year a show on 446. It's called Stories Behind the Stats. And it's just sitting down and telling stories like this, and would love you to be an early on guest on that show.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help you out, and anything I can do to pump up KCU.
Trying to get my wife to let me do these shows on site, but she's not agreeing with me traveling the country right now.
That is so funny, Doug. If I said I was going to Grayson, Kentucky right now, Jody would already be packed in the car before our show's over with. So I understand. Coach, Merry Christmas, sir. Thank you for setting the precedent of what a coach should do on a Sunday night and be on Midwest Sportsnet and 446 Sports and talk about.
I'm going to let y'all look behind me real quick and see what's going on in here. This is the end of that 7-on-7 that we talked about. Some of the best players in the state of Louisiana gathering here in Central Louisiana.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, Coach Jason Aubry, Kentucky Christian University, head coach of the Knights. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, sir. God bless you, and have a great start to your new year.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, we let Coach go there. I hope not unceremoniously, but I think I pushed the button too soon. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Coach. I apologize. But really quickly, shout out to Matt, who says it's a Grandview weather type of day up there in the North Country. Well, let me tell you something, Matt. You let some of it escape because the cold front hit where we are, at least where I am in southeastern Oklahoma, about mid-afternoon, and it's chilly, and the heater is going on over here in Studio B right now. Doug, you're telling me that the cold front's supposed to hit your direction sometime today?
So we made it out to practice today, and there was a record high. And we came tomorrow, and it'll be 45 to 48 degrees. So about a 35-degree drop-off from practice to playing time.
Absolutely. Well, now it's about that. I want to say it might actually be 40. It was 82 in the car after church this morning, and computer saying 43 right now. So,
goodness gracious, totally that's welcome to the South.
Well, listen, shout out to everyone really quickly. Michael's watching us from Florida, where he says it's 80 degrees there. So that is Matt watching us from the North Country. And Tool Envy steps in. Hey, Tool Envy. Man, I missed you in Fort Worth. If you were there, I missed you. I was looking. Tool Envy says rain with temps dropping in Iowa. So a Grandview weather day there, but not blizzard day there in Iowa. But glad you all are watching. And some of you all may be watching on 446 Sports Nights. We're streaming on both channels. So let us know from where you are watching. Doug, you have someone there with you? Or?
Yeah, one of the coaches that are in town that talks about it too, and he's joining us here, and we talked about the 7-on-7. So yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks that are watching all across the country.
How you doing, everybody? I'm Coach Jonathan Collins from Shreveport, Louisiana, here with 7-on-7 at Gridiron Bowl Game.
Gridiron Football USA. Check that out if you guys are looking for something. They do a lot to promote high school athletes all over. Two furthest away that we've had was a couple of years ago. They were out of Canada. But we've got a young man out of Tennessee. We've got Arizona, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, all around that are in town for this weekend.
Nice to see him coming in with some jerseys. Actually, someone else looking over your shoulder, Coach.
That's right. There you are.
Elijah Banks from Glen Oaks.
There you go, out of Glen Oaks. So they've got probably 150 kids that are here this week, and they split up into 4 teams. Also have some junior high kids that'll play tomorrow. The Senior Bowl is Tuesday.
Man, that should be a lot of fun. So if you're watching on 446 Sports, you'll get a chance to see that as well. Yes. And Doug will be on the call for that. Doug, let's move back to NAI for just a moment here and talk a little bit more about that tonight. As Tool Envy, man, I missed you by feet at the game on the field. Oh, man. Well, Doug was there for a little bit, and then Doug bailed. He ran. He had to go back and get out of it. We tried to get a few of those interviews. So, Tool Envy, I am so sorry I missed you. But I promised I would not give away your secret identity. But I look forward to getting to see you face-to-face again one of these times real soon. let's talk really quickly. Coach Aubry, who, by the way, thanks to Coach Aubry for coming on tonight. We're going to have some more coaches on the live stream with us on Sunday nights for sure. Still doing midweek broadcasts, although I'm not sure we're going to do one on January 1.
Right.
But still doing midweek broadcasts as well. The transfer portal, which he's talking about getting in that. Of course, in the NAI, there is no transfer portal per se, but we've talked about the transfer market, and there's a big name. Big name in Tool Envy. I know this is something that's important to you. Drew Selland is making himself available in the transfer market, according to a post that he had last week on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, social media. And Drew Selland, in case you didn't know, one of the most explosive offensive players in the NAI in the last 2 years. He's a junior. He was in the number 1 or number 2 in both receiving yards and receiving yards per game in each of the last 2 years, Doug. I mean, that could be a big loss. Now, he didn't rule out going back to Morningside, but it was that's a big deal.
Look, and it's that time of the year, and it's changed so much. And you heard Coach Jason talk about how, and he used the word poaching. Now, I think this is just a little bit of testing what's going on out there too, but it's become so prevalent right now to do that. You know, one thing that they talked about tonight, and it was a gentleman that played at LSU. He talks about, look, get somewhere and prove your worth. Bet on yourself. And that young man's done that. And so if there's an opportunity to move on and get into perhaps to that D1 level, then go get it.
You know, I think you said it best right there. He has done that. If there are a few players out there who have done just that, and Drew Selland has without question proven himself there. And Tool Envy says, hey, listen, Grandview has a place. Can arrange the truck for his stuff right there.
Oh, Tool Envy.
That is great. You know, hey, listen, let me throw out a couple more names here that have come up. Yep. One of them that's official, and one of them I'm going to say is unofficial, but it was implied, okay? Caleb Bridges from Lindsey Wilson officially said on social media that he's out there, an all-conference performer for in the secondary for Lindsey Wilson. Of course, Lindsey Wilson made a playoff appearance again this year. Bridges listed at 5 interceptions, but I'm going to clarify that number because he had one interception in the regular season. He had 4 in the Indiana Wesleyan playoff game alone. So I think that may skew the numbers a little bit. That didn't take away from his play. Obviously, a very solid player right there, but he's officially out there. And then, Doug, I had a chance to visit with Levi Torgerson. Man, we dropped his name all over the place this year.
You talked about him a lot.
Absolutely did. And he didn't say outright at the end of the interview, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, it's the Summit on Midwest Sportsnet. Check that one out. Episode number 501. We crossed that 500 episode mark. And Levi Torgerson said he's still exploring his options. He may consider, possibility of that extra opportunity of eligibility, which would, I think, by definition, mean NCAA.
Look, so it has to, but you talk about somebody with that kind of skill set like Levi has on there, and you were high on him all year long. There's no doubt about that. You get to the point of, let's go out there and give it a whirl. And his extra time would have to be in the NCAA, and I think that's a great move for him because, man, go out there and put your skills to test, and who knows what that next step becomes then.
Absolutely. I'm impressed, and that interview, it's been a while since we've done a summit, and we talk to coaches a lot. I enjoy talking to the athletes as well and try to make good use of their time. We have a few more athletes coming up in the spring, but I really was impressed with him. And I don't know that everyone recognizes, I mean, he's a 2-sport star in college. He's
That's
playing
crazy.
on that Montana Tech team, which, by the way, beat D1 Montana in an exhibition game a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was really pretty cool that he can hang his hat on that. Lots of folks watching tonight. Appreciate you all watching. Listen, if you haven't let us know who you are or where you are and who you're cheering for in the chat, you need to do that. Joey McWilliams, Doug Gann with you here on college football this week, which is tonight. Both on
Joey,
Midwest
I'm excited about our first ever simulcast.
I know. We're on 2 different channels tonight. We're on two different channels tonight. Hey, Doug, Tool Envy's asking. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and drop that one on the screen there. Tool Envy's asking, have we talked about Doug's pick for the championship game? I think we did last week, but let's bring it up again.
It's back. It's bad reception.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it was down to the wire. It was one of those games, and man, you somebody had to win that. And Tool Envy, yes, I was glad. I was. You knew Grandview had a good shot going into it, but man, Kaiser, it was just a dog fight that we said it would be. So hats off to those. But yes, I had Kaiser going in early, but we lose sight of the fact that we also had College of Idaho with a big upset win earlier. So
Well, yeah, College of Idaho did that. They got that win over Montana Tech. But anyway, no, they had a few wins. By the way, what a great season they had. That went farther than I thought. The Yotes back to the semifinals once again. And there's some Yotes fans out there and all of that. Michael, if he's still watching, Michael picked Kaiser too, but that was a given. We knew Michael was going to pick Kaiser.
That's correct.
All right, midway through, and we're past the 30-minute mark. Let me say really quickly, this is our first simulcast, so we're on Midwest Sportsnet and on 446 Sports as well. And find your home for this show. It's going to be on both places, so just find your home and stick it out there. And Michael said, yeah, it was a great game for both of those schools. So
look, and that won't be the only show that gets simulcast on these. As we move to Stories Beyond the Stats, I think we'll have an opportunity to put that out there as well. So look, these are your homes to find out all the information that you need nationwide.
Absolutely. All right, now, shameless self-promotion aside, let's talk a couple more things really quickly. We have Bet the Barn final win totals. Bet the Barn final win totals. So let me bring this up here, 2025. And I have this right here. These were our leaders. There were a few more folks that got involved a couple of times over the year, but the final numbers, Leo and Robert finish at the top. 23 correct picks in the Bet the Barn over the course of the fall. So Leo Vitt, Robert Whalen, Matt, you made it up there. You're at number 3, finishing that number 3 spot. Matt, if you're still watching us tonight, so shout out to you. And then Henchman 21 and Dave, both with 14. Tool Envy, you should have picked a little bit more often, man, because I have you down for only 4. Now, if I missed that, I don't think I did miss that, but I have you down for 4, and I'll check my numbers later on just to make sure, because that just seemed too low. But Jeff got in, and shout out to Jeff too. Brody, an all-conference performer there at Grandview as well. So we enjoy when Jeff comes on the program. All right, so I'll get that off the screen and get to one more thing about college football, Doug.
Before you do, so I couldn't see that very well on, because I'm actually on my phone tonight doing this, wrapping up and about to head back to Alexandria. But was I dead last?
No, you weren't dead last. You just weren't one of the leaders. You got in late. Okay, you got in
right.
late. So I didn't put my number up there either.
Okay.
I'm not even going to go there. Trust me, it was not in the top 5. We'll just go that way. and I picked every single week, and it was not in the top 5. So there
I gotcha.
Doug's going to get his 10,000 steps in just on this broadcast alone. Okay, coaching changes. Let's talk about this really quickly, because there are some big names out there, and we mentioned last week. Okay, Simpson drops their coaching resignation and new coaching hire the Friday before the championship game. So I thought that was an interesting time for that news. Trevor Utter promoted from wide receiver, tight end coach to be the head coach. This one just a couple of days ago. As a matter of fact, I think it was yesterday. This one dropped. Rio Grande in Ohio, brand new program in the NAIA after about a 70-year hiatus without college football. Rio Grande.
Rio,
I know. It's tough.
Yep.
Listen, I was born in Texas. It is so tough for me to say Rio Grande. But
That's
I'm
correct.
right. The Red Storm have a new head coach, okay, and that is Mike Bartram. Now, if you look back on this a little bit, let me see if I can pull this statistic up really quickly. Rio Grande Last year, Mark Thurston, 1 year, the team went 0-9. It was his first season, but he stepped in for Quincy Wilson as Rio Grande and Quincy Wilson, who was set to be the first head coach, parted ways before the season started. Coach Thurston steps up, takes the team for the whole year. They make it through the year, unable to get a win in that first season. So now you have a new person stepping in. And Mike Bartram, this guy has some credentials and also looks like just a stellar person on and off the field. So definitely want to drop that. So now we know we're going to have 12, at least 12 as of now, teams with a first-year head coach. 7 spots have been filled, 5 vacancies that are still out there. Langston's one of those, Arizona Christian one of those, Eastern Oregon one of those, Rocky Mountain is one of those, and Southeastern in Lakeland, Florida, one of those as well. So
now this is encouragement, because you know that there is a national championship coach that was in his first year this year. So, understand where he was the first-year coach at, but I'm just saying what I'm saying.
All right, that is fine. Okay, so we'll get a chance, hopefully, and we are on the list, by the way, for the summit to get some interviews with some of these new head coaches. Rocky Mountains coach Chris Stutstream just took the head coach position. He stepped out. He's taking over at Bismarck State. First-year football program, again, after a hiatus of, decades. But Bismarck State in the Frontier Conference will have football in 2027. So that's going to be at least a 15-team league, not next year, but the year after that. And the Heart, by the way, which is the conference of the current reigning national champion, 2-time national champion Tool Envy, the Heart Conference, I believe, will be a 15-team next year, because I'm pretty sure that's where Mount Mercy is. And Mount Mercy is starting football in 2026.
Look, that Heart Conference is just, man, that's such a solid conference.
It really is. And now Grandview, again, 2-time national champions. So that's where we are there. All right, we had a chance to talk to Coach Aubry tonight. And, Doug, I know you're driving, so I want you to be safe while you're driving as we start to wrap things up here.
Look, you see both hands on the wheel. I've got it hooked into the device there. So
okay. Well, I want to give a shout-out to 2 more people before we left, and I did it on TikTok earlier this week, but I want to do it officially on college football this week. The Walter Camp Foundation released its NAIA All-American teams and Player of the Year and Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year is E.J. Peterson, rightfully so. I mean, 14-0 in his first year with the program. There's a lot you can say about a number of coaches, and I have. And I put out there, who I think should be up there to the top. Don't change that at all, but a shout out to Coach Peterson, because, man, what a fantastic season he had. Doug, you got to see him there on the field as well.
Yeah, and look, it's all of that notwithstanding, the coaching, the championships, the interview that he did, and I'm such a fan of genuineness. I don't think there's a more well-deserving person than Coach EJ.
Absolutely. He gets that. Here's the other one I want to mention, and I'd love to hear your take on this, and guys in the chat as well. And, well, hang on. Tool Envy didn't want to test the football gods. He just didn't want to jinx Grandview in any way. I think that's what it was. So
I understand.
The Player of the Year, according to the Walter Camp Foundation, Destin Loring, the absolutely stellar running back from William Penn, who helped Coach Benavidez and the Statesman to a record-setting season. And Destin Loring, senior, he had a great year.
I try to say, and you made such a statement, trying to stay away from picks on games and things. There were so many great talents that were out there. I'd hate to name a Player of the Year like that. That's just but you're right. What a season.
Absolutely. And one note on Destin Loring, 1,949 rushing yards, 30 rushing touchdowns, and he did not lose the ball. He did fumble it once, but he got it back. So he did not turn the ball over. One great game. It was a great year. And Tool Envy, he says it right. One bad game Man, that was a tough opponent too, because Friends and Tool Envy, you said it too. Friends was a problem. So that was a tough one to come up against. All right. I'm not going to say this is the last time that I'll be on the air in 2025, because as sure as I say that, there'll be an opportunity to come back on, and I'll want to get a chance to visit with folks in the community. Doug, really quickly, you are going to be on the air, though, on 446 Sports later this week.
Yeah, we'll be on tomorrow for the junior high All-American game. There are teams from Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, players from there, and they combine into North, Central, and South, and they'll battle a little three-way round robin and play. They've been working for the last 2 or 3 days. And then Tuesday, the 30th, we'll be on with the senior high bowl game. But and that will wrap us up at that point. But we jump right back into it on Friday, January the 2nd, in a battle of top 10 basketball teams in Louisiana as we move right over into that. So we'll be off New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and then right back to it. But I'm telling you, 2026, if it's half as good as 25 ended, man, I'm so excited about it. Look for our wall-to-wall NAIA football coverage. I know Joey is taking such a lead on that, but we're going to have NAIA softball for you as well throughout the year.
All right, Doug Gann, on the road, truly on the road, even as we speak right now, and we're simulcasting college football this week. So shout out to everybody in the community, and Michael, Matt, Tool Envy, I think you guys were the only ones on tonight. Shout out to you guys, and if you're new to college football this week, well, hey, listen, get in the chat, join us in the community, because it's a lot of fun, and we do appreciate one another here, and we enjoy talking about college football right here on this channel. So Happy New Year to Michael. Happy New Year to all of you all. If we do not see you again before then, if I don't see you again before then, definitely I am praying for you, and I want your 2026 to start well and that you have a great start to your year. If not this midweek, college football this week will be back next Sunday night, first Sunday of 2026. And there will also be, to give a shout out to Midwest Sportsnet, there'll be some more Summit episodes where we get to visit with some more coaches and players, not just football, but throughout the realm of sports. So, Doug, final word as we close.
Look, I just want to wish everyone out there the safest of New Year's. I know there's a lot of craziness that gets out on the roads, and praying for all of you to make it to your destinations and back safely on there. But Joey, I did want to give a big shout out to you. I don't think there's anybody that works as hard as you do, and I'm grateful to you and Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet and the entire family. And so God bless you all, and we'll see you in 2026.
Thank you, Doug. And a shout out to you from Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet, and to the community also from Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet, because I honestly cannot tell you how much she appreciates you all as well. She gets to watch every now and again, so she appreciates the community. I want to say thank you again tonight. God bless you all. College football this week continues year-round on these two channels. You guys have a great night. Hey, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this really quickly. I got some new lights. I'm playing with the new lights, Tool Envy. So who knows? They could be different colors in the future. But a shout out to everyone. God bless you all. Merry Christmas. Have a great New Year, and we will see you all very, very soon.